What's up, everybody? Welcome to a wonderful Tuesday night, Bradley Jack Design. I'm happy you guys are here. The three of you right now. We'll see who else rolls in. Usually, I throw out like more hype about what I'm gonna do, and usually I get more people for those. But today we're doing Anastasija Zolotic, who is an Olympian. So we're gonna go with that. And we are going to do some Taekwondo. I don't really know anything about Taekwondo. I don't know anything about... I want to say her name's Anastasija. But I believe I could be pronouncing that incorrectly. So, like, what I like to do for people when I do designs of them is get a little bit of background on them. So there's really no background on her, according to Wikipedia. Garrett, I started like seconds early. Chill. So she's only 18, so she's Garrett's age, so that's good. Where she's from? She's from Florida. Okay. Maybe we could throw a little Florida vibe in there. So that's about it. All right, so I've got some photos prepped already, as in they're cut out. A little bit of editing. Got to do some tweaks to these for the final version. But I got a photo of her with her medal. I got a photo of her, you know, with the flag. Got another one with her, the flag. Just, you know, utter excitement. And then have a photo of her, I think, running off to the side when she won, going over to her coach. So what we're going to do is we're going to compositionally, as usual, we're going to build something that's going to look nice. It's going to be a nice, clean design, unlike Ashton Kutcher's kids and Mila Kunis. So, you know, I've got this photo of her. I don't really know what I want to do with the background yet. Matt Lang posted some really nice backgrounds as like inspiration that I don't really want to steal from, but it's a good idea. But I'm just going to put red in the background. That's just sort of an idea I had. You can see I cut out her hair awesome, which is super sweet. Hey, Alex, what's up? So... what's up, Kevo? So what I had an idea when I was finding these photos is, you know, we've got her over here. We've got photo in the front. You know, just figure out how compositionally these would look cool. And then we got the photo of her running over. I don't know if we really want to use that one. I'd like to have compositions that are pretty centered, as you guys are probably well aware of. So maybe we'll take this photo, make this real nice and simple, maybe just a real nice clean composition. So I'm gonna get rid of this back photo. Let's start here. So I'm gonna right click this. Actually, let's name this standing front. It's spelled wrong, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna convert this to a smart object, and we're just gonna steal the shadow again. And I'll show you how I cut out her hair in a second. I'm going to delete this layer mask, save, go back here. Instead of using nice brushes, a lot of the times I just like to use a gradient map to put in the shadows that are from the original image. So I'll take that gradient map, I'll drag the whites over and look down below here until it's pretty much white, and then just the shadow. And then we'll actually just use a big old square. And we'll just crop it to that. And then set it to multiply. Boom. There you go. So now she's on the floor. Group these together. Front, small. I usually name stuff like front, small, big, back, you know, middle, whatnot. So we have this photo here in the back. I'll just blow this up a little bit. Hold on, do we got weird proportions on? Yeah, see, Photoshop decides to change its mind on whether it wants me to forget 20 years of Photoshop and I have to hold down the shift key or not. I'm just gonna fade her out just a little bit and then draw back in her arm, or paint back in her arm so her arm is fully visible. And we'll save this. Anastasija. Anastasija. Anastasia.pst. All right, save. All right, so I'm gonna show you how I cut out her hair. I think Dan Beltran, Design with Dan, posted a video on how to do this to his channel. So what does open this up? I actually did a little bit of editing to this, so I'm gonna right click this, convert to smart object. We'll go to the original image. So here's the original image. So usually I would just hit select subject. It would select the subject, select and mask. And then I would just go in here with the refine edge tool. And if you set it to 0, it's going to be a lot easier to get a lot of this hair in. We can click like that. And it's actually grabbing a lot of it. But then you can tweak the contrast. If I actually have like, if I have all of these set to 0, if I set these all to 0, it might actually pick up her hair fine and have smooth at 0. So you can see it's picking up a lot of her hair. So that's one way of doing it. But you know, it's getting in here. It does a pretty good job though. So that's how I usually do it. But since there's such contrast with the background, you can go to channels. Usually the red channel's best, but you got to just pick and see which one has the most contrast with the background, which usually is red because of skin tone. So this is bright. So I'm going to right click this, duplicate channel, red copy. I'm going to go to image adjustment with the red turned on. So say something sweet to it. So we've got image adjustments, and then I'm going to go to curves. You can also do threshold, or not threshold. You probably do a other levels layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag the whites over and drag the blacks over. And what I essentially want to do is that the channel selection is going to select anything that's white. So you can see we got all of our hair. So I'm just going to hit OK. Now if we want, which is probably a good idea, I'm going to use a kind of hard brush. And I'm going to brush in the areas that should be like her head, you know, like her eyes. We want her eyes to be selected. We want her face. You know, over here, this is a weird area because is it just a dark spot underneath her hair, or is it something else we need to do? So that's up to you to decide. I'm going to go and do some of this and select most of what this is, and hopefully it doesn't look too bad. You know, you can use a lighter brush or a softer brush, but you pretty much want to try and discern what is dark hair and what is light hair and what is a gap that you can see through. So I'm just going to paint over all of this. Now the issue we have is right here, it picks up this light because it's just making everything that is that color. So we'll just fix that later. I'll just go like this. I don't really know what's going on over here. I think this is the edge. So I'm just going to take black actually. Paint in here like this. You know, is this her arm? Like where's her arm at? So I'm just going to paint a little bit of this off. And we'll just fix the rest of it later. So I'm just going to paint and make everything black that you do not want selected. So we don't want any of this selected. We don't want any of this down here selected. Now what I can do is I can use a black brush set to overlay, and I can hit some of these areas, and it's going to get rid of the whites. Oops. And vice versa you can do with the things. It like is super weird on if it wants to work, Brad, so it might not work. Oops. It's real weird how it decides to work and not work. It might pop up delayed. So this is pretty decent. So I'm doing this real quick because I already did this. But we have this, so now we can just hold down the option key, no, the command key, and click, and it'll select it, and then you can just mask it, and then boom, there's your mask. Now you see there's a bunch of crap on the edges. So what I did was I pretty much selected it to her hair. And then I've got one that is just her hair, and I masked out areas I didn't want. I basically masked back in her hair on top of a general image of her that I just cut out. You know, so I cut out her body and her face normally, and then cut her hair out separately. So that's how you can do that. Also take a look at Dan Beltran, Design with Dan's video. He shows how to do that. Probably very, very similar. So we've got this sort of set up. Now, I mean, we can make a really easy design. And, you know, this is, compositionally, this is pretty good. We can add some text right here, like a real standard graphic we could do. Let me grab a rectangle, and I'm just going to set this to green. You know what doesn't make the precise cuts? The pen tool. Everybody boo this man. What we could do is we could put we could put text here or something. YouTube.com/designwithdan. Yes, youtube.com/designwithdan. He has one video of complex selections under 30 seconds, but he does it using the channel selection. Basketball. The Bears. The Bears. Do not challenge me on my soundboard, Brad. So what we can do, back to the design, is we can put text here that says like champion. We can have, you know, text down here. We can do some cool stuff with her in the background. You know, like we could ghost this image, you know, back here like this. Then we can take this one, or we can vice versa. You know, just make a real clean design. You know, something like this with text. So we'll see what we can do. Or we can do something a little bit more, you know, dynamic. Like this is a good composition to set up. This is generally when I'll like hop on to Pinterest or Instagram and find some inspiration. So like, let me pull up Instagram real quick. Yeah, dog, slow mode. I don't want anyone spamming. Like here's one. Like this is a cool graphic. Like we have the same composition really, but I'm just looking at extra stuff going on. So like this cool texture at the bottom, signature and stuff at the bottom, just texture in the background's nice. So I'll just go on here and just find stuff that I think is cool. Like this background stuff is all great. I'm doing warpy text and stuff like that. You know, then we get Johnny's lighting stuff every once in a while, like all the time. More Johnny. We could just scroll down and be like, all right, where's Johnny? We got Tyson Beck. Shalik. It's just a lot of the same guys that are excellent. So what do I want to do? So do I want to say she's a gold medalist? All right. I think we're going to do a really easy design. So we're going to open up Cinema 4D. We're going to do some 3D stuff. Because I know I have gold stuff already pre-made somewhere. Let me just plug in some of these hard drives. Okay. All right, we're back to Cinema 4D. We used this once for our Bradley Beal design. I'm going to use it again right now and hopefully not unplug anything. And hopefully plug the right stuff in. Shoot. Like that. Hopefully I don't unplug anything like the Ethernet and then the stream breaks. Okay, so we got that on. I probably plugged in the wrong cord. No, we didn't. Okay, good. This might break a little bit, but I'm going to try and find some gold I already made on... that already exists. So I don't have to do it again. I think I have a champions word somewhere. Yeah, let me pull that up. Hopefully that comes up somewhere. So I made some designs through let's do this one. So I made some designs that involved some graphics for the Super Bowl. So we're gonna go with that. Let's see here. What do we got? We're gonna delete this. Don't need that. Where is that? Don't need that. Let's see, what's this one? Okay, what about that one? All right. Great. So I just want this to say gold medal. So I've got like a ton of lights. Like, let me show you what's going on here. Like, these are all lights. That's happening here. And all these lights, I can probably show you what this actually looks like. I think all of these lights are actually turned off except for 2. Let me show you where these lights are. I can do that if I show in render. Or no, show solid in viewport. Here you go. So these are all lights. So I've got these 2 lights up here. I got a light up top. It's a key light. I got a little background light as well. And I have these lights, which are lights that hit in the reflection. So if I take my camera and go back to the camera coordinates, I messed them all up. Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. Okay, so I need to change these to 0 and 0. There we go. All right, we're back. Sim before D is not that complicated once you get going and kind of know. It's a little tricky to learn how to navigate through it, but it's not too bad. So let's render this real quick and see what this looks like. So I have a plane in the background, or I have one of these lights or one of these materials. See, like I made this in February, so I don't remember a bunch of stuff, but one of these lights, something is giving off a like a red hue. As you can see, there's like this red hue, and I wanted that because I wanted it to match the background. It could just be the gold itself. I think the gold I have itself, the material might be giving off. Let's take a look at the materials. So in the material editor, we have the color, we've got the reflection, we have a bump. So this is basically just saying the color is gold, it's reflecting gold, the color is gold. The other one might be the same exact thing. Okay, I don't know. Usually I set up one of these lights to be colored. We can go to general and see if any of these have a specific color to it, which they do not. All right, well, that's fun. All right, set this back to 0. Go back to our coordinates, 0, 0. Let me 0 these out, actually. Oops. All right, so I want gold medal to be like right there. Do we want it to say gold medal or gold medalist? What do you think would make more sense? I think if I just do gold medal and then put underneath it women's taekwondo, women's taekwondo. I want to know the exact like event. So it's women's. That's when we just turn down the red hues in Photoshop, right? Okay, so I want this. Okay, I found it. So it's the women's under 57 kg taekwondo. So we'll take that. I'm just going to duplicate this text. Put it underneath it. Go back here. I'm going to make this text say women's taekwondo. I'm going to change the font so it's not Tusker Grotesque. You guys got a font you think I should use for this? Something that isn't like, I don't know, black letter. Taekwondo. Taekwondo is a weird word to type if you've never typed Taekwondo before. So that's going to make this look a little bit better because it's going to be in all caps. We're going to make this smaller. And then we're going to drop it down on the, so it's below that. And we're not going to make it as deep. We're really just going to make it pretty subtle. The cap is going to be like nothing. Futura, Bold, or Gotham. You guys just picked like two very, very basic fonts. I'm going to hit the default button on here. I'm going to hit the default button for Nike. So a little bit of what you guys said, but not really. Futura Extra Black Condensed is pretty much what Nike uses. It's really small though, you know? Let's go back to our thing here and see how we can do this. Okay, so what we can probably do, let's do one gold, move it up, copy paste, move down. Let's do metal. We'll do one of these. I'm going to take both of these. I'm going to group them together. Put it into a null. Drag it down. We're going to rotate these bad boys like this. We're going to increase the size like this. So then it says gold medal. Nice and large. We can then take this font and change it to the same font. Futura, I got 6 million fonts on here. Futura, extra black, condensed. Should probably put it in the same group as them. So the, okay. I'm gonna put these in the same group. And I'm going to adjust this size of the title, of the other title later. I might tweak the camera too, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Let's do like this, gold medal. We can then take this text here, go back, change it to Futura, change bold to heavy condensed italic, and then I can move this up. And it's at the same, you know, we're just gonna do that in Photoshop. All right, what does this look like? Yeah, look at that, see? Oh, is that why? Yeah, so the sky. I feel like I did something weird to the sky. Oh, you know what? I don't think it's loading this file. I think it's loading the wrong material. No, it's definitely there. Let me load a different material and see what happens. Yeah, it's like way darker now. What about the red? The red is still there. Usually that means there's something, it's just something in here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our material. We're going to go back to our sky layer, which is this. And what we're doing is we're just selecting an HDR. And I've got like random stuff in here selected. So I'm just going to search HDR on my computer and we'll see what happens. And then if I go by name, these are usually ones that I've downloaded. So I think 7's a good one. And then you can usually tweak them from there. So that might have been what I did. I'm just going to hit OK because it's loading. This one should be brighter. Yeah. This is what I usually use. It makes everything like super bright, super white. Yeah, that's like, everything's like crazy, crazy white now and bright. Just a little overkill. Let's go to the rendering and let's change this to physical. And now hit this and see what happens. Oh, it didn't take much longer. Yeah, it's a specific material file that is warped. You can look them up. HDRI images are usually what they're called. If you search for HDRI images on Google, you can find those images. So this one's this is like way too bright. And the only reason it's way too bright is because of these lights. These lights aren't even on. Like, this is how many lights are supposed to be on. So let me change this back to that other HDRI file. Now let's see what happens. So you can see it's got some more speculars and it's reflecting a little bit more in the with the lights that are behind it. I mean, I like this. It's just that there's a lot of red still, and I don't remember why. Let's go in here. Oh, I might have given one of these a texture. I was playing around with this a lot, and again, like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I don't know a ton about what I'm doing. Like, what is this material? You know, what's this guy's story? All right, let's just make a new material from scratch so we can show you guys how to do that again. I like all the different lights on it. The reflection gives it, yeah, the reflections give it depth, which is good. Okay, so, oh yeah, Kevo knows how to use Cinema 4D pretty well. I'm just gonna select like a random, really light color. Reflectance, I'm gonna remove. I'm gonna add a Beckman to this with the layer Fresnel of a conductor, because gold is a conductor of electricity. Then usually the reflectance isn't always 100. I want the roughness to be 0, which I'm going to change anyway. The global reflectance, I'm going to make like 96. I'm going to give it a bump, which is going to give it texture. So I'm going to load an image. I wonder what I have in here. These are all like old stock images I had that I was using, but I want gold. So I'm going to go to my stock images. I'm going to go to my gold. Here's a bunch of gold textures. So I think I usually use this one. So let's use this one and we'll see what happens. Yeah. We'll do strength at 25 for now. We can always change it. And this is usually generally black and white. So, you know, we can change the black and white point to make it more contrast. But then we can take the color to make it a little bit more gold. But then we can apply that straight to this metal. And you can see it changed completely, which is not necessarily a good thing. So let's go like this. We'll see what this looks like with all these other settings from this other thing I did. And you can see it looks terrible. Like, the other one looked way better. And why did it look better? Let's take a look. So I actually gave them layer colors. I'm gonna delete these. I'm basically just gonna get to a point where I like how the metal looks and go from there. Like, the red doesn't really matter because it's gonna be on a red background. Okay, so I think I just want to move it up just a little bit in our composition. Just based on where I'm going to where I'm going to layer it off. So I've got two textures on this. One of them is a shinier outside, so this one's a little bit shinier. So it's got a reflectance of 100%. I'll actually change this layer color to black, or to black, and the color to black, so we can see it a little bit better. I think I have a Fresnel on it of gold. I'll just change that to aluminum. Yeah, I thought it was coming from the sky, but the sky, you know, I replaced the sky material. But I feel like at some point I added something to like I like added a curves layer or something. Let's just delete the sky. And then let's just add the sky back again. Sky. Now we have a sky. We have this. Let's make a new material. I got a bunch of materials down here. I have no idea what any of them do. So I want the luminance to load an image. And we want an HDRI. I think we had HDRI 15 originally. Yep, sure, why not? And usually you want to blur these. 15. Blur it a bit. Oop. Yeah, I want to stop this. Click here. And render. We'll see what this looks like now. See if we completely broke everything. A little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, so hit Command Z a couple times. And go back to what we had, because I think it looks nice. Alright, I like this better. I like it darker, so then the lights are actually doing work. I'm going to go back to this layer that we changed. And I'm going to put the color back to something that's a little bit more yellow. And then change the layer for now from aluminum back to gold. And then the color can go back to that. I just need to make this color a little bit more orange. There we go. Let's see what this looks like. And I might make the bump, or not the bump. It's got to be one of these lights. I already checked all these lights, so it's very weird. Oh well. Okay. So again, like, I don't really know what I mean. Hair render, like, why was that checked? We don't need that. It was checked because I have grass on here, which we don't need. So we're going to output this. We're going to save it as a TIFF file with an alpha channel. Global illumination, ambient occlusion. Let's do multipass just because I don't know what I'm doing. And let's take a look. Yeah, overall, it's not bad. Kind of nice. I think I want it to have a little bit more of texture. So I'm just going to boost this bump up to like 40. And you can really tell when you like zoom in, you can tell that it has more texture. But we might not see it here as much. And the lights could be diffusing a lot of that as well. But that's fine, we'll do that. Render, add to render queue. Actually, I want to make sure that this is set to save out. Output 1 frame. Okay. If I don't do output 1 frame, it's going to basically output a bunch of stuff. This is going to be gold, metal, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's for one graphic. All right, we'll see how long this is going to take. And I'll let you know when that's done. All right, so that's going to go right here. So it's going to say gold, metal. You know, I could probably go in here. And this is where Cinema 4D starts breaking everything. So we got gold. We got metal. We got Futura. Black. Futura black. This one. Just not cooperating at all. We'll just make this green so we have a general idea of where it's going. I'm just going to make this 2 different. Wow. There. This is really just like, hey dog, you know how you shouldn't do anything when something's rendering? Like, this is why. And this might not even look good. Like, I should probably render a smaller version so we know this is going to work. It's pretty much going to look like this. Gold. And what does metal look like? Where's the M? So it's underneath the O pretty much. So it's pretty much going to look like this. It's going to look large enough that you can read it. We'll take metal. We'll paste this. Make this real small. I want to make this white so it contrasts. So this is just going to go right here. Okay. We got that going on. Let's add... I'm going to duplicate this layer. I hate multiplied red layers because they don't do anything when you actually turn them into something that's red. I just need to click here. Okay. It says it'll be done in 20 minutes, so we'll see what happens in 20 minutes from now. Thanks, Tyler. I didn't have a really good idea of someone I should do a graphic of. And I was like, well, the Olympics are going on. Let's do someone who's in the Olympics. And she's a, first-time Olympian, first American woman to win Taekwondo gold. So that's cool. So it's pretty much going to look like this. We got here at the bottom. So down here, what did I want to do here? I wanted to mask this. I wanted to take a really soft brush. Whoop. I wanted to do like that. So I just wanted to set up a really faint, whatever you want to call this. Ground war. Oh, I'm opening up camera raw. I just want to add a bunch of grain to this. So I'm just gonna do it in here and see what it looks like. Yeah, bunch of grain, cool. I'm gonna duplicate this and I'm gonna flip it around. I'm gonna put them right next to each other and just set it to like something where you can barely see it. Really, I just need to add some more texture to the background. So let's do that. I'm gonna type in paper. Let's just find some sort of texture that I haven't used in a while. Do we want to use a really aggressive texture? We've got a lot of stuff going on in the front, but I don't want all of this white space. Like, I'm probably not going to use these two images, to be honest. It's probably just going to look like this. So it's like, I don't want all of this white space, so I need to find something to go there. Let me just open up Bridge. Again, Brad, so the shadow under her body is literally a duplication of the photo that she's in, but I just have it masked to the ground, and then I just have a
Radiant map
put on top to turn it black and white. So this is the original photo. So since this works really well if they're the only subject and if they have a definite shadow. So it's like, oh, here's her clear and obvious shadow. So instead of having to use a brush and guessing, I can just do that. And, maybe I convert this to a smart object. And maybe I, blur it just a little bit to make it a little bit more subtle. That might make it a little bit more sense. Maybe 1.69, just to be nice about it. And then maybe we add a little bit of noise to it. Add noise. Let's add 4.2% noise. There. We added some noise. All right. Let's go to my stock images. Again, I don't know what stock image I want to use. I don't know if I want to use something that is Subtle or not subtle? There's a bunch of stuff in here I never use as well. Yeah, I got a bunch of sound effects. If you're doing something sus, I got this one. That's a good one. I'm gonna use grain. Is there a grain in here I haven't used in a while? I like these lens grains that are really natural. I'm gonna use one of those, but I'm gonna toss it in the background. I'm gonna invert it and use it as a negative texture. So everything just broke, as you can see, because the gradient map fell off of that. All right. So I want this on top of this. I'm gonna, yeah, that's what I thought. I hit open. Command I, I'm gonna hit M. Let's just do one of these. Let's just see how bad this looks. The issue is I have this really nice floor set up, but I completely ruin that floor if I put a stock image there. So I can put one there, which I think is good because it's gritty. Taekwondo, you know, something real gritty. Let's use a different one. Actually, no, let's use concrete. Let's put her on concrete. Asphalt. It's a font apparently I downloaded at some point in time. Do we have concrete on here? I think it's just under texture. I got my textures. Definitely have some concrete in here because I know I took these photos and they took photos of the ground. So I like this one. So we're just going to have this in the background. It's just like some cool punk texture because it's a cool photo of some graffiti in New York City. And it's going to give us, it's going to allow us to make a red, white, and blue motif. So we can have some red, some white, and some blue. So maybe we want this to go here. Should really just make this a rectangle. We'll do a color overlay, and then we'll just pick blue. Yeah, it's a terrible looking blue. But guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna color overlay this as well, and then put that in a group together and set it to multiply. Pretty much just completely gets rid of. Let me do. Come on, let me do this. See how bad that looks. Let me delete this layer mask. So this blue's like way too bright. So we gotta fix that. Yeah, like a dark blue. And then we're gonna group this together again, and we're gonna fade it up like that. And then we're going to set it to 69% again, just to be nice.
That's what she said.
But really, we're going to set it to like 42%. Real subtle. All right, so now we have red, white, and blue, which is good. Now, this texture does not have enough stuff to it, so I'm either going to use...
curves.
Or a gradient map. Or a gradient map.
Gradient map.
Punk. So I'm just gonna make it so it is more white, so you don't see it's pink now, it's actually white. So that's good, and it gives a little bit of depth behind her, so that's good. All right, so our gold is done. It looks like trash, so we're gonna have to fix that. Where did I save this to? My documents folder. You'd think organizing by date modified, you'll be able to find it. I did the voiceover for all of those. This is an independent operation, Brad. I did and do everything. I'm not about to pay someone to do these when I can do them myself. Okay, so we got the gold medal here. I usually duplicate it and then set it to like overlay and then make it like 30% and then set it to like screen and then just like kind of brighten it up a bit. So we'll make this gold metal. We'll save this as a Photoshop file. Save it to our desktop. I'm gonna go to my desktop. Toss this bad boy in there. Look how accurate we were. Look at that. Look at the accuracy. Boom. Gold metal. Gold metal looks kind of cool. There's some stuff I would like totally tweak about it, but it already took so long. I don't want to do anything else. Maybe get a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's do a couple things. Let's first take her shadow. Actually, no. We don't have to take her shadow. We'll take her. Okay, where's the lighting going to be coming from? Let's do this. I'm going to turn her into a smart object, but actually I'm going to give her a color overlay of just dark gray. So she's got a color overlay of dark gray. It looks like that, trust me. Then we're going to convert her to a smart object. Then we're going to smush her down like this. And we're going to widen her a little bit. So then I can set that to multiply or overlay. You know, set it to multiply at something, or color burn looks pretty good. So there, now there's a shadow, sort of her on that. You know, filter, we'll blur it. 4.2 pixels. Yeah, that's good. We're gonna duplicate it again. Yeah, that looks better. What if I set it to multiply, but we'll go in and we change the color overlay to not be that color, but to be a dark shade of orange like that. Make it brown. So if we go back, it's going to be a little bit more natural in the coloring. Theoretically. So that's what it looks like. Set it to multiply. That looks more natural than having black. Okay, so we're going to save that. This is completely gone. This we cannot see. If I make it black. Yeah, we can see it, but like, what's the point? We'll come back to that later. We're worried about the ground right now still. The ground is what we're worried about. So we need to go back here. So the thing is, she's like on a mat, which is fine. I don't want a mat. I just want very, very, very... See, these are all black and white, though, because I made these super black and white, which is not what I want. Yeah, I'm going to have to sell you on the blue 4. Right now, it's too saturated. That's the problem. I'm going to have to make it really muted, and then it's going to look good. Let me just act like I know where everything is. Grunge. Okay. Concrete. Perfect. Here's just a concrete floor. Let's throw this down. I made this floor, like, I made the floor completely stupid. Because I made it, I didn't just use, like, rectangles. I used color overlays, which doesn't make any sense. So we're going to add this texture. Oops. We're going to make sure this middle rectangle lines up in the middle, like that, so we know we have a nice little perspective. A little bit of subtle texture. Still doesn't look good, so I'm going to boost it out like this. That'll look a little bit better, a little bit more natural. See, the issue is I have to go in here like every single time I want to change anything and go into the color overlay if I ever want to change anything, which is stupid. Like, that looks better. See? Doesn't that look better? It's either that or it's red, but if it's red, there's too much red. Let's bring this in the front. And we'll figure out what we want to do with that. But what we need is we need more grunge. I'm actually going to duplicate this. I'm going to toss it down here. I'm going to do one of these. Pull out the sides a bit like this. Stretch it out. It's better, but it's still not great. But it's just a floor, so it doesn't really matter. But there's a big harsh line there, so I'll have to figure that out. When I mean figure that out, I mean go like this, and then like, you know, draw that, and do that, and do one of these. But then this has to be on top of all of these textures to give the illusion, but then it also has to be masked inversely to that. There. That's better. Yeah, I still hate how that looks. It still looks really bad. Let me get rid of these textures. A more pale navy blue. When you say pale navy blue, you mean like that. Yeah, there's just something about the floor I hate. I don't know. We'll come back to the floor. All right, so let's throw a bunch of stuff in the front. Let's do some quick edits. Whoops. Let's do some quick stuff that I generally would do. And you know what that means? It means throwing stuff on top like lens sturts and all the cool cat stuff that I use on everything. Lens sturt. Boom. The best thing about these lens sturts is you can't even tell that they're there. Especially if you set them to like 50%, you can't tell that's there. I know it's there though. Stock images, lens overlays. Let's throw some more golden ones on here. You know, I would throw a blurred autograph on here. Like, I know you haven't watched a lot of these streams, but we make that joke a lot. I really like this. Let's use this guy. I mainly like this around the bottom where the gold is. So can I do this and make it look normal? No. No, I cannot. Can we really blow it up like this and just make it like on the edges? Nope. Let me see if I can find her autograph. Like, that would be the most bonkers thing if I can find her autograph somewhere. Signature. Yeah, no, not a chance. Oh, that's a really nice photo. What is she wearing in these color-wise? So I just found this other photo that I think would look real good. Just want to see if I can find it in a not terrible size. Like how dope would this photo look? Like just like right here down at the bottom. Body's a weird pose though, so we'll just use this front one. Okay, saving this. Let's go back to our overlays we like to use. The gold overlay. Yeah, see, we're putting a bunch of overlays on to hide the floor. That's our main objective right now. I use the same ones of these a lot because I like how they look. They just have these, you know, here's this little tiny speck of a highlight. These little rainbows that they add. If we just blow it up like that. Where's that rainbow hit? You know, like that. I always have to use a levels layer on these though to get rid of the black. Let's go back and let's use one of Ethan's. I've chatted with Ethan. We're gonna get him on. We're gonna get him on here at some point in time. So I really want to use one of these. Let's see which one of these I can use and then tweak just the color. Let's use this one. I don't think I've ever used this one before. We're just gonna size this. Set it to screen. But we're going to Let's give it a gradient map. Listen, I have long known that both Ethan and Tyson Beck use the pen tool. That's just facts. So Jimmy would be good to get on here. We would just basically talk about the Bulls the whole time. It was funny, last week my wife got mad because I wore a Bulls shirt like 3 days in a row. We got that, we got that, we got that gold. Let's just turn this other Boko gold for funsies. There. So we got some cool stuff going on. So we got some lighting now areas, which is good because now we can go like this. Select the modify. We'll contract that. Let's do 2 pixels. And then we'll use a curves adjustment to boost everything up, but we'll add a little bit of red and a little bit of green, about equal actually, to make it yellow. And we'll drop the blues a bunch. There, now it's yellow. So this is in the middle of nowhere. I want it to be right here. And if we invert it and then we filter out the feather to like 3.5, now she's got this little gold hue going around her with some lighting, but we want to tweak the blend if to like 84 so it blends in a little bit better. So it's nice. Let's actually do a little bit more lighting. This is using the inverse lighting technique. So I'm going to boost the reds again a little bit, boost the greens again a little bit. I have to be a little bit more gentle on the shadows because it looks weird sometimes when I do this. So with the underlying layer, we're going to blend in this a little bit, invert it, and I'm just going to hit some spots that make sense based on where our lighting is. So let's say our lighting's from the top. Do I have something selected I don't want? No. Okay, so the lighting's from the top. So I'm using a 40% brush. I'm usually a little bit more harsher when I am using these. Sorry, the layer's set to 40% now. Now the brush is set to 40%. Okay. Just gonna hit areas that would be theoretically darker. So her face would be lighter, this would be darker. Would be darker under here. And we can darken up this. Would be darker under here. And again, I don't like what the color is doing. So I'm just gonna set this back down to 0 for the coloring. What's up, Henry? It's like under here would be real dark. This would all be dark. Maybe down here this would be dark, dark, dark. Under this leg would be dark. Under her feet they would be dark. You can see a little bit of edge I need to fix from her feet. I can do that too in a little bit. This would be dark. You know, if I was Jonathan Oxo doing this, I would take 30 minutes independently just doing this. Just how much time he takes on each of those light studies he does, which is why they're amazing. Okay, I'm gonna select, hold on, let's open this up. I'm gonna select this, I'm gonna modify it, and then we're gonna contract it 1 pixel. And then we're gonna delete the layer mask and do that there. There, that looks better. I'm going to take another curves layer and I'm going to drop it down, but I'm going to drop it down a lot more. I'm just going to hit this in certain spots. So I'm just going to hit underneath her feet at 100%. That way underneath her feet are actually super dark, like it's hitting the mat, which makes sense. And then we'll just hit some other areas real quick. And you can see I'm using like a real broad brush. She uses like a Wacom tablet, so that's why they also look awesome. So just that, I mean, we went from this to that. So it just adds a little bit more. Makes it look a little bit cooler. We're gonna do the same thing to the big photo in the back. And I don't know how that's gonna look because of all that hair. So we'll contract, since it's a bigger photo, we'll do 3 pixels. And then if we do adjustments, curves, boost it up like that. Boost the reds. Boost the greens. When you add red and green together, you're going to get yellow. And if you decrease blue, you get more of that. If we add more red, it becomes a little bit more orange in hue, which is what we want. And then I want this to not affect like the really dark areas like that. And then we invert it so it's only showing on the outside. So that makes sense. But we don't really need it to hit some of these areas. We mainly just want it to hit over here. As you can see, it's pretty much just hitting her hand in her face. But we need to feather it. Make it a little bit more natural. There we go. Let's just make a new layer. I'm just going to select some yellow from this. And I'm going to just do like 20%. Paint like this. Select it to that. Change it to overlay. There. Added just a little bit of color. As you can see. A bit of color. Which makes a little bit of sense. Okay, what are we missing? I think we're missing a couple... what are they called? A couple flares. Having gold like this, it allows us to easily toss in flares. Flare out. Guy, I got a bogey on my 6. Hashtag Warzone. Like there's natural points where there's these highlights and you can easily throw in something like this. Try a little sparkle on the metal. Yeah, that's actually probably a good one I just selected. We can put it... I kind of want to put it in a spot where you're not going to see it, like that. But we know it's there. But you don't. Or the viewer might not. Where else can we throw another one of these flares, just for fun? Brag out. I got a bogey on my 6, Chief. Let's toss this flare on here. See where we can throw this flare. I mean, this flare would look pretty good behind her. Or something like that if we had like real harsh lighting behind her, but we don't. There's not a real good spot to put this one, so I'll put it right there. And this is all okay. This is an okay graphic so far. I really don't like how the text looks, but again, that's just me. And that is just how I feel. I'm going to do something that's going to make me feel better about the text. If I can find it, because nothing's labeled. So what I'm doing is... I feel like there's too much space between them. So I'm just going to do one of these, whatever, invert this, delete this, and then just move this up and over a little bit. Ah, that looks better. That's better. That makes me feel better inside. If the text gets bigger, it gets bigger. So the thing is, we would either need to make it huge, like this, so it's completely intentional, or not at all. Which I don't hate how that looks. The issue is it takes away from her in the background. We can't really see her now. I'm gonna put it back down. And all of our flares are now off. except for that one. All of these flares are off, so we gotta fix that. Oh, we don't even have her name in here anywhere. You know, that would be good to have so people know who we're looking at, because we don't know what's going on. So where can we put her name? 3D text, delete. I mean, I know where we can put her name, but I want to know where you guys think we can put her name. Okay, so what I want to do, just grouping some stuff together. Let's just do one of these, make a big old background. Got her name, let's make it nice and big. Let's just fill this up. What I actually want to do is I want to make it cool looking in the background. So we're going to try and find, we're going to need decorative fonts that aren't named Futura. Wow. This is super cool. All classes. Okay, all Adobe fonts. I really like just putting grunge texture on fonts. That's just something I've been really enjoying doing recently. So I think what I'm going to do is really grunge her name up in the background. Let's use Mars Attacks. I used this on some wrestling graphics and I thought it looked really cool. Anastasija. I'm just going to use her last name. We're going to make it white. Keep the red, white, and blue going on. This might look terrible, but we're going to do it. You can't even, I mean, you can't even tell what her last name is at this rate. I'm looking for Papyrus. I should just make it Papyrus and just call it a day. Okay, so we're going to actually convert these to a smart object. And we're going to do this all at once. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to give this a stroke that's black, like this. I'm going to convert these both to smart objects. Well, one smart object, that makes sense. We're going to blur it. Let's blur it like 5 pixels. And just for the background, let's blur it 5 pixels too, just so they're blurred the same. So then, if we add a threshold layer, it's going to glue everything together like that. So everything's the same, and we can choose where we want that threshold to be. Let's flirt with it right there. Now let's add some texture on top of this. Or below this, like that. Okay, so that texture's back, so that's good. Let's group this to that. I got some subtle grunge textures here. We're gonna just paint with black. And this is at 20%. I'm gonna do 100%. Then we can do this, and just gives it really subtle grunge. I have my own grunge. Like this. So we're going to do that. Let's make a new layer. We're going to add some white back into the equation. That way we have a little bit more texture. Let's use another texture brush. Do that. Now if we go back to our main platform, it looks like that. And then when we set it to screen, it looks like that. And it looks really cool. Except we need to mask it like that. Like that looks cool. Can't really read her name. Still don't know what it is, but that's what her name is. We're gonna then filter, distort. Then we're gonna pixelate and we're gonna crystallize it 3, which is the minimum, which is gonna give it a little bit more edge as well. But I think the background needs a little bit more of this faint texture so it all blends in. Because right now it looks like it only is applied to one area. We need it to apply to everything, so then it's all... We're all in this together, is really what I'm trying to say. T is for Troy. Alright, so we got that going on. I'm going to duplicate this, set it to multiply, and then just mask this down. So we've got that going on. Real faded here, though. I don't like that. That's better. Where's this at? Yeah, see the bottom of this photo is practically where this line is. So we're just going to make that happen. And we're just going to make this a little bit bigger. And actually, we're going to have her go outside the whole frame on purpose. And then I can actually group this together and then select this and do that. And then we can add a layer on top of this, just masked to her, and then I can multiply it, and now there's a little bit of a shadow on her, so that's better. Okay. This is all cool. I think what it's missing, though, is it's missing a lot of grunginess in certain spots. We're gonna go to bridge. Let me do something real quick. Let me see if I throw a lens flare on here. Looks fucking bonkers. That's what happens. It's like a gunshot. Well, that's cool. Let's add a couple of those. Why? Because we can. We are making up the rules. We are the dreamers of dreams. Okay. Yeah, we need more. We need some dust. So I've got some dust. Dust? Green and dust. These dust scratches are excellent. I'm going to take one of these, toss it on everything, and boom, look. We got some white now. White now over everything. Is it too much, though? Maybe. Let's just do that. I'm still a little hesitant on how this looks. It's probably because I haven't done any sort of color lookup on it. Let's make it pop. Yeah, these are definitely going to do the job. Nope. Nope. Maybe. So we got a maybe on 10. I kind of like how 11 looks. Let's make it 50%. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's do another one just because. Teal orange, yeah. I wonder if these... I need like a cascading, a scale of like what these look through. If you know what the color lookup does, you know, maybe. Like, I have no idea what these do. But, like, if I'm Ethan and I know that, oh, this one changes this and this and this to this, then I go, oh, okay, let's use that one. You can also set these to different blending modes. Let's get rid of both of these. Okay, we need to fix this here. Also, Joey Votto just hit a home run. So, congratulations, Joey Votto. Dub. What can we do to make this more visible? We can give it a gradient overlay of normal. We'll give this a stroke on the inside of 1 pixel. 2 pixels, and we'll set that to white. We'll zoom in here. We're going to give it its own. Here's the hard part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give this just a subtle gradient. But I have to take this gradient and match it to the exact angle. Luckily this is a backs, so we can do that. So we'll just take our backs here, and we'll just put it on like that. So it gives it a little bit of a sheen, and then we'll just give it a slight drop shadow. I don't know. Yeah, black's fine. I don't want to click black. Let's do color burn. It's a lot of white though. And this is too much. Let's do like 4 and 6, 4 and 8. Yeah, that's fine. Something looks way crazy. Whoa, crazy. So I definitely broke something somewhere. Let's do multiply. Alright, what did I break? Like, what is causing all of this to break? Did I change one of these? Yeah, why? I don't know. I hit something. I messed something up somewhere. Everything's yellow. Hold on. Did I turn a channel off? I don't know what I did. See, it's yellow here too. It's like the whole everything's broken right now. No, this is here. Oh. No, that doesn't make any... Hold on. It was just broken and hates us for no reason. See, it's completely fine. Okay, there's not enough stuff in the front for me to like this. Like, there's some stuff going on down here. Well, I mean, I gotta throw my logo down there. I guess we can do that. Logo. Here you go. Let's add this one. Look, big white, big cool, fancy logo. We'll open this up in Illustrator and fix it. Maybe I'll actually save out a file of it, but I won't. I know stuff we can add. Like, we can add fog at the bottom, but I really don't want to add fog. But I want to add something. Let me go to my website real quick. Take a look at some of these. So this is like fighting. So I'm going to look at some of my All Elite Wrestling and see what I did on those to add some grunge. So I saved this file, so now it's just, oh, okay, be that way. Whatever. Let me just do a color overlay of white. And we'll throw my logo down here in the bottom corner. Do. Save. Oh, you know, I could add. This is what I was going to do. Was it 9? Just one of these is the best. This one's good. I could add this super factor texture to everything. So then it's like a super factor, like sports card, but it doesn't really make sense. Say, so this is behind her or in front of her? I guess if I put it in front of her, that makes sense. And you can still read it. The text is kind of okay. It's kind of so-so. I'm just looking at one specific thing. What did I do here? Let's do that. It's not. This is not something I really would subscribe to doing. And what that is mixing mediums essentially. Paper. I don't know what kind of paper he has in here. I don't really look at a lot of this. Some nice paper folds. Ooh, let's do that. Okay. This thing that we were trying to get to happen, but never did, was the inverse of marble, which Garrett probably saw this coming. So if you have marble, you invert it and set it to screen, you get this like spooky looking texture. Everything is just breaking. Nothing wants to work. You get this like spooky looking texture. Ugh. So then if you do it the right way, you can add, it'll add a little bit more if you want just a little bit more texture, which is what I want. But I want it to be flipped. Let's drop this down here like that. I really want something in the corners, and this is going to help me put baby in the corner. It's real complicated. And now we just completely forgot about the floor being trash and looking like crap. So that's fun. You know, not all of these streams can be amazing wins. Okay, let's do some final edits. So we're going to convert this to a smart object. And this is where we're going to do a lot. I wonder what I did there. There's a Mike Tyson graphic I made for All Elite Wrestling on TNT. And I really want to see what final edits I did to that, because I want to do them here. So I'm going to open that file. That's 1.7 gigabytes. And we'll see what happens. Because I don't remember exactly what I did. But we're going to see, because it's opening up right now. I think I used a channel mixer layer set to gray, or desaturated something. Man, it's like so much different on this other screen over here. Oh, it's because none of the LUTs are on, like that. Yeah, that's what I want. It's just these two layers, right? Yeah. I'm going to copy this. Word for word. Where are we at? Here we go. I'm going to just paste this here. Besides Opie Toppin, who's your dream athlete collab? Yeah, I don't like how that looks. I mean, Devin Hester's the GOAT. He does follow me on Instagram, so he has sent a couple things. I was gonna make him something for like his kid, but then like it seemed like he just wanted me to blow something up and not actually design something, so I was kind of confused by that, so I never did anything for it. But like if I could, let's put it into like topical terms. If I could make an NFT for someone, it'd be Devin Hester. Like it would be super cool to make him a like NFT for when he hits the Hall of Fame. Like that would be cool. I'm just playing with the channel mixer just to tweak a couple things. Well, he like sent me this like magazine cover of his son and like wanted it in like it's 16 by 20 or something. So I was like, okay. Sorry, so I just like it looks like she's holding her breath immensely and going to pass out any second based on all of these color edits I've done. So I'm gonna just fix that real quick with a little bit of an adjustment layer there. Basically adding some yellow back into her. But then she's still really pink right here. So there. How's that look? Are we happy with this? There's a lot going on. There's too much going on in this graphic, to be honest. I mean, honestly, I should probably get rid of this. Or make this more subtle. This is screen. What if it's set to overlay? Like, that looks cool. But what if it's set to overlay, but then this layer, if it's black, you can't see it, which is pretty much half the layer. So we go like that. And it's just like real subtle. Do we like that better? We might like that better, but the issue is, let me get rid of these LUTs. The LUTs are fine. The selective color, though, I need to boost the blues and the cyans. Oh, is one of these drop blue? No, that's very weird. I usually like hitting drop blues on stuff. Really? What is killing the blues? Is this killing the blues? No, that kills the yellows, which is fine. This is killing the blues. Oh, it's drop blues. Yeah, see, it's at the top. Like I said, I was just wrong. Let's just do this instead. Let's group all these together. I'm gonna get rid of this, and I'm gonna set this dust scratch to like 100%. See, like I don't like mixing like paper textures with lens flares because they just don't make any sense. Okay, I want to do this. I want to convert this to a smart object. Throw camera on there. Throw our LUTs on there. Throw my logo on there. I think this looks better. You know, maybe we take some of these lighting effects in the lens dirt and duplicate it and throw those on top of everything again. Like this. Except we don't need two of these, we just need one. Let's get rid of the color. Let's set it to like 30%. Damn it. Damn it. Yeah, I forgot to move this. Which one of these is it? I think it's this one. I would have ruined the whole design, even though this is a real weird thing going on. Sad, strange little man. Okay, so now we make this. We do this. We right click, convert to smart object. We go like this. We got our camera raw filters like that. Except these are not what I wanted to do. These are fine. Let's do this. Let's dehaze 8. We don't want to do that. I think what we can do to sell this a little bit is if we hit this color. Oh, see, I did some color grading, but I did it to that. Let's do the same color grading. So I don't want it to be purple. Let's color grade everything to this sort of color here. Sharpen, sure, whatever. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. Then if we turn all this crap back on, it looks like this. Which is fine, but then I want the adjustments. Really boost the blues, take our reds back, boost the reds more, make them darker like that. But then the yellows are not yellow enough. We need more yellow in the yellows. You take away the magenta. No, we need to take away cyan. It'll brighten them up. Whatever. All right, there. We did it. We'll make a new layer just for kicks. Convert it to a smart object. We'll make it 103 tall, 103 wide. We'll rotate it 0.25, and then we will knock out. What do we want this to be? Red and blue. Except we'll make it 100 and 100. And then just sort of Ethan J the crap out of it. Kind of like that. But then we'll also filter lens correction. Custom 3. There. Except the lens correction, we don't want it to be 3. We want it to be 0.5. Practically nothing. But you can still see it. Yeah, go get your 3D glasses real quick. Now we won't lens correct it. We'll just add a layer mask and mask out a bunch of the front. So it's just hitting the edges. And then we won't have it affect my logo because then you can actually see it. All right. That is that. I think we're done. Thank you guys for joining me again for another lovely stream. I'm happy that you were quick to select to spend your time with me.
Hooray!
Let me know if you guys have any suggestions for next time. I'm going to do a stream on Thursday. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I don't think I've gotten anyone to do a duel, but if I can, I'm going to duel someone on Thursday. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to do something with my sports card stuff, and I'll let you guys know. But thank you guys for joining. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to check out my Patreon if you're interested. You'll get access to this file here, all files from all of my 6 months of streaming and all of my design breakdowns. And some design breakdowns that are just on there that you don't see in the public, like my Simone Biles graphic I just did a couple weeks ago. I'm going to put up my DeAndre Ayton design breakdown on there as well. So let me just export this as a ping file, and I will see you guys next time. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your Tuesday.